How are we getting on, people? Luke here from LAGFX. We're back today with another Podversations episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the first one. We certainly enjoyed recording it and speaking about personal growth and development. Now, in today's episode, what we are going to be discussing is mental health and well-being. And we are going to discuss various aspects of mental health, coping mechanisms, stress management, mindfulness, and promoting overall well-being. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, or you have any thoughts and feedback about the things we have said, then please leave them in the comments below. If you do go on to enjoy this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight into today's Podversations video.
Yeah, definitely is a pretty big topic at the moment. I mean, some of the statistics at the moment, I don't know, I'm going to throw you in the dirt. I don't know if you want to flash some stats up on the screen,
I can definitely do that,
but
yeah.
to do with the current, mental health statistics, it's insane. And I think, on a surface level, without going too deep into it straight away, it is just going to boil down to, okay, so as humans, we're imprinted to act, behave, believe, interpret things from this psyche and brain that we have developed from ancestral times. What's happened is because we've progressed with technology and all these things so quickly, our brains aren't able to progress at the same rate that all of our environments progressed at. So our brain's behind. Our environment's here and our brain's here. Okay, our environment's gone too quickly. It's progressed too quickly for our brain to keep up.
I mean, yeah, well, we could stem this back to social, as you say, social media, TikTok, everything really, women, social environments, relationships, drugs, alcohol. These are all things that are giving us instant gratification. They are altering the chemicals in our brain. They are making us. They're just destroying us. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's so many things that are poisonous to us as people that we really need to be made more aware of. And it's in plain sight. I mean, we could even say, like, the food that we're consuming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does stem down to that. Yeah,
it's everything. Absolutely everything. Like look at it this way. Like thousands of years ago, we used to have to hunt for the food that we eat. You know what I mean? Now we can literally place an order on Uber and it'll be here in 20 minutes. What work have we done to get that food? Absolutely all. You know what I mean? So we are eating, we're over consuming, overindulging in all these things that we are having to do all to get. Do you know what I mean? I can bring it down to women or sex. Do you know what I mean? If years and years and years ago, you had to put a graft in to make someone love you or like form a relationship with someone. Now you can just pay for that. You know what I mean? There's a price with everything. Whereas years and years and years ago, you actually had to put the work in to get
what's crazy?
what?
All the biggest industries where the most money is in the world is industries that give you instant
Instant
gratification.
gratification. Yeah, because
Amazon.
that's what people are seeking.
What does Amazon do?
It gives you next day delivery.
Yes. OnlyFans. What does OnlyFans do?
Instant gratification.
Yeah, all of these massive industries in the world are aspects of life where somebody's had an idea to give individuals instant gratification. The food industry is huge. What is the best-selling food and food brands?
Fast food restaurants. Everything fast.
Fast food, chocolate. It's because it comes down to dopamine.
Yeah.
We're all addicted to dopamine because salty and sugar-rich foods release dopamine in our brain. Okay, and what it is that we're so addicted to dopamine nowadays from everything that we do, whether that's food, whether that's social media, whether that's literally anything. Everything in our life has been designed to give quicker dopamine hits.
Yeah.
And our brain now is so used to that the second we don't have it, it feels like it's being starved.
Yeah, exactly. It's
There's an evolutionary thing where, our brains want that constantly. It's an addiction.
This stems very, very nicely to mental health and our well-being as people, because we are so like under I don't even know what the term is, but we're just like so oblivious to it. Do you know what I mean? And it's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There is poison everywhere, and we need to really open our eyes, because this is going to have long-lasting effects, not just for us, but in the people that come after us. I think we really need to take action, and I think a way of taking action and the way of bettering our well-being and looking after our mental health is to refrain from drugs, refrain from alcohol. And you know, we all like to indulge, but doing things in moderation. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not just saying
Dosing
drugs
is
and alcohol.
alcoholism.
I'm talking about.
Joking.
I kind of stopped at drugs and alcohol, but I mean, like, you know, with food, you know, like overindulging in bad foods, overindulging in pornography, and you know, all these other things. You know, there's so many different things. You know, and at the end of the day, I think we just need to stop overindulging.
Massively.
And we really need to set boundaries and limits, because I think more than anything, especially men now, like mental health in men is skyrocketing on an exponential rate. Do you know what I mean? And people, rather than us taking action, and rather than people doing things about it and saying, well, you know,
I have an opinion on why it is as well.
It's completely down. Women are overly sexualized in today's age. I remember years and years and years ago, if anyone was to post any kind of revealing pictures, they would, you know, there would be a lot to say about it. Now, oh, you know, we're just expressing ourselves, things of this nature, and that's
Body
absolutely
image and
fine.
confidence. Thank you very much.
You know what I mean? That's absolutely fine. You do
Yeah.
that's absolutely
So
fine. But
there's
now
one thing that's
gone over the mark a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a man, that's what we are. That's what we look for, is status. Do you know what I mean? We want status. And we could go back hundreds, thousands of years ago. You know, even back to when we were in tribes and things of that nature. There was always a leader, and how did the leader stand out? Because he would have some massive thing on his head with feathers everywhere, or he would have the skin of an animal that he's killed. You know what I mean? We're always looking for status. We're always looking for status. Do you know what I'm saying? And all the women, they're all attracted to the high status men. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think in today's age now, it is just, there is, whereas back maybe 50 years ago, when social media didn't exist and there wasn't, things weren't necessarily down to numbers, the pool of that and people matching with relationships and things like that was a lot easier, where now status is quite easily showcased with social media. Do you know what I mean? And I think it can be quite false. And I think this is probably why we're having a lot of problems with relationships in today's day and age as well, because people can claim that they have this status, or claim that they're this type of person, or claim that they're this, claim that they're that, when in reality they're not. Do you know what I mean? And
There's
when
something quite controversial that I can touch on, but and I'm not saying that this thing I'm going to discuss is bad. I'm just talking about the repercussions of it happening. Okay. Yeah. Back in the day, who worked? 99% of the workforce was what? Men. So not that I'm saying this is right or wrong. A woman needed a man to survive, because he would provide the money, which would get them food and the basic necessities they needed to survive and thrive. Now, with everything that's happened in terms of women fighting for equality, I love the fact that they're doing that. The only downside is, naturally, on this hierarchical level, where it was like this in the past, this is where it is now. This is where the equality is. And if anything, because they've been striving for it, it's maybe going a bit more like this now. Okay. Yeah. The only issue is that it's great for them as individuals, but when it comes to the dating scene, it completely messes it up. What woman wants to be with a man that they're seeing as, you know, they're having to support, do you know what I mean, and provide for? You know what I mean? It's the simple law of attraction. Whereas men, for me, like I would love to provide for a family. Yes. I would love to provide for my life. I would love, do you know what I mean? That's for me, that's all I want. And that's why I'm working hard. That's why I have diagram time. It's diagram time. It's diagram time. A woman, like, no woman wants to provide for a man. You know what I mean? So imagine these are like your hierarchies, right? What happened is, back in the day, it used to be the man was up here and the female was here. And the reason why this worked so well is because, like I said before, men will always date across or below hierarchical levels, never above. Women will always date across and above, which worked perfectly. It combined.
Yeah.
But the issue is that when this happens, yeah, and you're now seeing something like this, and this is where the majority is, right? And let's say you've got, let's say as a spread, this is kind of where they match. Yeah, it means that only this percentage of men here have access to the women, because a woman is never going to date down. She'll only date across and above, which means now only this pool here has access to them, because they will never go for this remaining pool. Now you've obviously got the outliers, which may sit down here. And what happens is the 10% of women that are not outliers, I'm not saying that in a derogatory term to them, but if we just look at it on a simple scale of statistics and natural spread, this 90% of men here are now fighting for this 10% because that's all they have access to. But then the issue is that this 10% of men here now have access to this 90% of women, which is making them even more valuable. It's going to increase their level even higher because they have access to so many people. And what it means is there's such a smaller minority of men now that are successful and are getting these things because of this hierarchical imbalance and change that we've had recently. Yeah. What man wants to feel like they're low on the hierarchy?
Exactly that, and well, exactly, and this stems back to my point. You know, men always look for status and are always looking. You know, they want to stand out. Do you know what I mean? So if they're not standing out, they don't have status. Then you know what I mean. They're a beta. They're not an alpha, are they? So that's definitely causing problems with men's mental health, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what was the Colosseum for?
To fight.
For men to prove what?
Their worth, their status.
It's strength,
their manlyhood. Maybe we should refurbish the Colosseum.
Yeah, the Colosseum. Why were the Olympics made?
Yeah, to prove who's best. But this is what I'm saying. Like all these things were done and designed to show who's best. But now we're in the 21st century, 2023. Oh my God!
Participation medal. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You've participated. Well done. You came second. We're all winners. You're basically saying it's all right to be, it's all right to not be the best. It's all right to be second. No, it's not all right to be second. You know what I mean? You should be striving for first. You should be striving to be the best. And this is what the issue is. It's not even just us as people. It's what we're surrounded with nowadays. People are made out that it's okay to not be, you know, it's okay to not be the best. It's okay to be mediocre. Who wants to be mediocre? Unfortunately, this world is just going like this, and you are sat like this. Do you know what I mean? You are going to be left behind in the smoke. You need to do something now and take action.
Even just at a bottom line, how dare we as individuals? What happened between the years of 1939 to 1945?
Exactly. Like, you know,
think of all of our all the people that gave their lives to fight for a better future. And this is what we're doing with that better future. How dare we? Because if I went to 90% of men now and said, I dare you now to go and give your life for that cause, none of them would.
Oh yeah, no, not a chance. Not a chance.
None of them would.
It wasn't for the likes of those men who did that and went to war. You know what I mean?
And you know, even the women that stayed and built up the industries.
Yeah. I didn't emphasize on men to degrade women. I emphasized on men because what I'm saying is those who are men that don't act like men need to start acting like men, because it's men that get things done. It's men that are successful in life.
Yeah, boys don't.
Yeah, boys don't. Do you know what I mean? So this is an argument between boys and men. Are you a boy or are you a man? Do you know what I mean? No woman is going to want a boy. Are you a woman? Are you a woman?
Could be. Are you a woman?
Are you a boy or are you a man? Do you know what I mean? And that's
you can even flip this on the other side and say, you know, whilst this was going on and the women stepped up and they're there in the industries doing what needed to be done. They were there looking after their kids. They were there grafting and grinding away, and even to the girls that maybe are watching this and they will look what your great grandparents were doing again and flip that on that head and say, well, what are you doing? Compare this to anyone out there, men, women, I don't care. There's been men and women during the past who have stepped up when it needed to be done.
Yeah, it's nothing about, like, see, people that, like, you know, and there's going to be people that may watch this, and there's going to be people, even people now that, like, you know, we're probably in tune with and that we speak to, you know, they will always try and find a way of separating others. And I'll be completely honest with you, mate. I don't care what color skin you have. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. You're just another person. I look at everyone as a person. Everyone is a person. There is no separating in any of this. Do you know what I mean? I don't care what your sexual interests are, your gender, the color of your skin. We're all the same at the end of the day. We all have, you know what I mean? I mean, I could go on a tangent about it, but it drives me crazy, you know, how we have to step on eggshells, and we have to, you know, we have to cover our tracks and say, oh, but, you know, we're not, you know, disregarding this, or, you know, disrespecting this, or da da da. And I feel like this is another issue as well, is there are so many things now that are in place to separate us as people. Do you know what I mean? So many things.
There's so many groups, and the issue is, this is how wars start. Because rather than seeing it as the world is together, it's no, this country, or this group and this group. As you say, that there's now more and more groups forming. Understand what typically happens when that does happen.
Yeah. Exactly that. Going back to mental health and our well-being, I think what's important is to find coping mechanisms. Do you know what I mean? So the reason why we went off on this tangent was not to just speak about all that stuff, but because there are things in our lives at the moment that are affecting our mental health, and we probably aren't even aware of it. You know what I mean? That like social media, like what's going on with equality, like what's going on with, you know, races and things of that nature. There are all these things, and they are going to have massive impacts on our mental health and our well. Do you know what I mean? And I think what we need to do is refrain from being dragged into all of that rubbish.
It's the basic thing that you owe to yourself, is understand. Cool, if you want to sit on social media every day, at least understand what it is doing to you and what effects it's having.
Yeah, exactly that. If that's what you want to do with your life, then by all means do that. But understand that that's going to have a negative impact on yourself and the people that are around you. I was going to say, I think it stems back to accountability. Hold yourself accountable.
No way, I was about to fucking
Really? Like, why are you depressed? You are depressed because you're not taking action. You're depressed because you're not doing the things that you want to do, or you think you want to do, to be successful or to be happy. You know what I mean? People go, oh, money doesn't make people happy. No, money doesn't make money happy. Money doesn't make people happy. Money is simply a tool. You know what I mean? It is literally our motto on our thing. You know, money is a tool, freedom is the goal. Money is just a tool to have financial freedom, to be free. That's what we want. That's what all of us seek, is freedom. Do you know what I mean? Money is just a tool. So when people go, money doesn't give you happy, no, money gives you the tool to be happy.
It's funny because I was just going to give a really random example. I was like, everybody has those two friends. You know, let's say, for example, one of them is a smoker. They smoke a lot. You've got two friends. One of them's the one where it's like, yeah, but I'm not addicted though. Like, I could quit anytime I want it, and it's not that bad for you. Like, I've not got cancer yet. You know, my parents haven't got cancer. It's not that bad. And the other person goes, yeah, I'm addicted. I know it's bad for me, but I do it anyway. I understand the downsides, but I still choose to do it.
Yeah.
That's the person I respect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I understand, but I still decide to do it. Not the person that will not take accountability and say, no, I don't understand. I do it because I don't believe this. You know, and it's the same as you say, stemming that back to mental health is, look, if someone's struggling, amazing. But first, A, admit you're struggling, and B, figure out why.
Yeah.
And if you come to someone and say, look, this has happened because of this, this is my plan moving forward, fucking amazing. But if you're the type of person that's like, yeah, this has happened, and you just continue to feel sorry for yourself and you don't set yourself a plan in action, then of course it's going to go down.
Exactly.
Of course it's going to continue.
I think why you have more respect for those who are accountable is because, at least, if, for example, like you say, you know, if there's someone who doesn't take accountability, you know, and they are depressed, or they are upset, or they're in a rut, do you know what I mean? They aren't accepting that the reasons why they are in that way is, or in that mindset, is because of the things that they're doing. But that person who's taken accountability and has said, look, I am addicted to this, or I do this, and it makes me feel this type of way, at least they have been open and honest with themselves, and they understand that is going to have an impact, right?
And I mean, like everybody, I'm sure the both of us have had periods in our lives where we've gone through such feelings and whatnot. But the one thing that would maybe make me stray away from the crowd is, you know, when that was happening, I was fully accountable towards it, and I knew exactly what I needed to do to get out of it, and I took the steps to get out of it.
And I think that's the first step, is taking accountability. Everything brews
Yeah.
down to accountability, and yeah.
More likely than not, you're feeling that way because of actions and decisions you've made.
And
Actions you've
probably
taken and
because you're
decisions you've
not,
made.
and probably because you're not taking accountability. If you took
Yes.
accountability and accepted, yes, I am in a position because I'm doing this, then maybe you'd feel a little bit better, because you've actually accepted that there's something in your life that you are doing that is making you, making you feel that type of way. And as soon as you accept that, that is when you can start to take action.
Yeah, I think that rounds it up pretty nicely. I mean, I've kind of exhausted ideas on that. I think we've kind of rounded that up. I don't know if you've got
No, not really. Not
anything
really.
additional.
No.
I think that rounds it up. I mean, we weren't like direct on the point there. It was a little bit of waffle, but I think it's things that people need to be aware of.
As you said earlier, I think it's just about educating yourself. So if you are going to make a decision to do something, if you are, you do find yourself doing something, make sure you're educating yourself. You're getting a better understanding as to if and why, you know what I mean? I know when I've been upset or I've been in a rut, it's either because I've not held myself accountable for something that's happened, or because I have not gained or grasped a better understanding on something that's happened.
Yeah.
Take action,
Spot on.
hold yourself accountable, and educate yourself. That's what I could take away from that.